Friday morning, just got to the gym, and I got a question from Jesse yesterday who was asking about motivation or how to deal with a lack of motivation. And, I thought about my own experience, right? Like motivation. I mean, there's a discipline element to it for sure. You got to be disciplined to do the thing consistently for sure. But I've never really felt like I needed that much discipline to do something that made me feel so good. I've never lacked motivation. And I've been reading this book recently called Spark, and I'll put it down in the description box below for you guys in case you want to check it out after watching the video. But in the book, they talk about exercise and all the effects that it has on our body and our brains and the way that we think and the way that we do things. Basically the premise of the book is that we're meant to move, right? We're meant to get out and do things. We're not meant to be sedentary, right? Like the body has all these biological incentives to exercise and move. And the theory behind it is that, in pre-modern times, ancestral times, if you were living and you had stress, right? Stress was all of a sudden jolted in your body. All of a sudden your body starts producing adrenaline and cortisol and all this stuff. Why is that? Well, it's because there's probably some life or death situation that's in front of you, and you got to move. You got to climb up a tree. You got to run. You got to fight for your life. You got to do something. And so our bodies are meant to move is the idea, right? And in the book, they talk about all these sort of beneficial ways where people have used exercise to deal with anxiety, depression, ADHD, which I'm sure I probably have a touch of. And, it talks about all the brain chemicals that are, all the chemicals in the brain that are created following a bout of exercise, vigorous exercise. So things like dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, endorphins, all these things are produced through exercise. And they're the chemicals that make us feel good, make us have sharper thoughts and give us more focus, things like this. And again, for me, the way that I look at it, when I look at exercise and training, it doesn't require that much motivation because think about it this way. If you got home and you were hungry, right? And you were like, man, I'm so hungry, I need something to eat. And you open up your fridge and you've got a big bunch of food there ready to eat. Is it going to take much motivation for you to start, putting it into your mouth? Probably not, right? A lot of us, we've been conditioned to brush our teeth, right? Every morning or every night, whatever it is that you do, we brush our teeth, and they put an irritant into the toothpaste to, like, when you get done brushing your teeth, you breathe in, and when you breathe in, you get this cool feeling, right? And we associate that cool feeling with clean. Really, it isn't clean. It's our mouth's irritated and we go clean though, because that's the marketing that's been put together with it, right? So it doesn't typically, if your mouth feels dirty, if you go, my mouth feels dirty, it doesn't take a whole lot of motivation to move a brush across your mouth, usually, right? You just do it. And for me, exercise is kind of that way. There is the whole part of exertion and all that stuff, and that is what it is. But I'm always focused on the end result because it's almost like medicine. If I exercise, I know afterwards I feel better, right? I just feel good. Even like the other day I was working from home, and I basically was an all-day session where I'm doing the computer work. So I'm sitting down and doing this kind of stuff, and I would take regular bouts to stretch out and breathe. And then in the middle of the day, I went and got a really good lift and a sauna session in to, again, get my body moving, and I felt amazing afterwards. And I came back and had another good stretch of work done. And again, I dosed it in just like medicine, right? I knew that like I was going to need it at some point in the day, so I planned it in to do it at that point of the day. I came back and I felt amazing. And so for me, when I think of exercise, when I think of training, jiu-jitsu, weightlifting, running, whatever it is that I'm doing, I don't focus on the motivation needed to get up and actually exercise, right? Like I don't focus on actually having to do the task. I'm typically focused on the end result. Like, man, I'm going to feel amazing afterwards. I know that I'm going to feel great afterwards. Like I've never been to a training session where when I was done with a good training session, even if I got my face smashed, even if I went to the gym and my numbers weren't as high as they normally are, whatever it is, even if it was a subpar performance, I always felt better because I went out and did something. I felt like I felt accomplished because I did something for the day. And on top of that, I felt good. I had all these brain chemicals, all these chemicals in the brain floating through. And they make me feel good. And, last thing I'll say from the book is that they talk about that people that consistently exercise, one, they get that dose of, chemicals, positive chemicals in the brain. But also, if I'm remembering correctly, they said that in the book, when you exercise consistently, your body begins to sort of store these chemicals up at a higher sort of capacity. So think about it that your baseline of these chemicals is a little bit higher. So people that exercise consistently are typically a little bit, not always, but a little bit more chipper and a little bit more go get 'em than other people. So Jesse, if you're having issues with motivation, you're asking me about what I do to deal with motivation. Again, I don't lack motivation to train because I'm not focused on just the hard part, right? The hard part, it is what it is. I'm focused on how I feel afterwards, right? I'm not focused on drinking the cup of coffee. I'm focused on after the cup of coffee is drank, I'm going to feel buzzed. I'm not focused on like cooking the food. I'm focused on after I'm done cooking that food and I eat it, it's going to make my belly feel good. So think about that. Like when you're thinking about doing exercise and you get done at work or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're like, man, okay, I got to get ready to go exercise. I really want to go train, but man, I got to drive there. I got to get warmed up. I got to do all this stuff. Think about, man, I'm going to feel great afterwards. I'm going to feel amazing afterwards, and fixate and really think about that feeling and hold on to that rather than holding on to the actual exercise and all the hard part that's going to be associated with it. So guys, hope you guys enjoy your Friday. Hope you guys get some good training in today, and I'll talk to you guys next time.